Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Celente, and it's Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. And again, we have with us a man of men, someone that they don't like because he knows about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that have been robbed from us. Robbed from us, and the little clown boys, one after another, that people call presidents. As I would call them, dictators, or depending on who they are, dictators. Anyway, Judge, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure, Gerald, my dear friend. Thank you for having me on the show.
You know, Judge, you come out with an article again, and I'm not, this isn't bullshit. It's the facts. They're robbing us time and time again of our civil liberties and what our founding fathers fought against. And that was dictators running the country that people used to call kings. What kings? As I said, if they were Italian, they'd call them a mafia, a crime syndicate. Anyway, and they had a thing called the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, and they've been stolen from us, the Constitution. And you have an article coming out tomorrow, and it says, can the president disrupt free speech? Well, the country's attention was drawn to the federal government shutdown, which actually made no difference to most people. President Donald Trump signed National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, NSPM-7, which purports to designate the ideology of Antifa as, quote, a domestic terrorist organization, and directs federal law enforcement to disrupt its gathering and those of its supporters.
Key word is disrupt, Gerald. The president is unleashing federal law enforcement to disrupt lawful assemblages of people because he doesn't like what they say about him and about the government and about his opinions of things. So a couple of issues here. Federal law enforcement is unconstitutional. From the FBI to the DEA to the DHS to all these 3- and 4-letter maniacal authoritarian organizations, none of them is authorized by the Constitution. Second, the president cannot evaluate the content of speech and punish speech because he doesn't like it. If you read this executive order, which got no publicity, which was not signed on national television, but signed in private, very uncharacteristic for this president, since he loves to be seen signing executive orders. It basically says if you are anti-Christian, anti-capitalist, anti-American, we're going to suppress your speech. You have the right to be anti-Christian. You have the right to be anti-capitalist. You have the right to be anti-American. You have the right to articulate those views. It's none of the government's business. They have no authority whatsoever to interfere with it, but he has told federal law enforcement to disrupt it. That's where we stand. I don't know if this order has been followed. When it was secretly signed about a month ago, I don't know who got it, but it's there. You can look it up. And soon, somebody who wears a gun and a mask will be complying with it.
You know, you said that about this no right to be to do this, to call anti-Christian. But how about you have no right to say anti-Semite either? That's okay. You can say anti-Semite, but you can't say anti-Christian.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is disgusting what's going on here. And what'd you say about the 4-letter words? About
well, the 4-letter acronyms, it's actually most of them are 3, but a few are 4, that are the names of the federal organizations, FBI, DHS, DEA. There are about 250,000 federal cops. They don't wear uniforms, and lately many of them have been wearing masks. None of them is authorized by the Constitution. But these are the people, mainly FBI, directed by this executive order to disrupt gatherings that are anti-Christian, anti-capitalist, or anti-American. The government can't do that. The First Amendment guarantees you the right to think as you wish, to say what you think, to publish what you say, to associate with whomever you want. It's none of the government's business who you associate with, what speech you applaud at, what gathering you attend. But here's Donald Trump saying, if I don't like what they're saying and I don't want you listening to it, I'm going to have my troops disrupt it.
The terror is a direct line from killing folks in boats on the high seas because someone in government thinks they might be about to commit a crime, and disrupting constitutionally protected speech in America because someone in government thinks the speech might produce violence. And you're right. Whatever happened to due process?
That's where we are today. At the end of this piece, I do suggest you can draw a line between a president who will kill foreigners because he thinks they're about to commit a crime to a president who will disrupt Americans because he doesn't like the speech or doesn't like or fears the speech that they're about to hear. It's a baby step. It's a couple of baby steps. You let him get away with one thing, and it's not just him, it's any president. Obama killed people, as you know, and boasted about it in his autobiography. When you let them get away with this, the lust for power and the lust for control is so overwhelming, they'll keep doing it, and they'll do it in other venues. So the same Donald Trump that is killing unnamed, unknown people on the Caribbean, it's now up to 80 people dead. Even the British, who are nihilists themselves, have said, we don't want any part of this, and we're not going to provide you with any intelligence about what we know about what's going on in the Caribbean, because the British government has a legal opinion saying that these killings are war crimes. Whereupon the United States government issued an opinion. They won't let anybody read it, but they'll claim that it says to the troops, don't worry about it, you're not committing a crime, because many members of the military have been leery about killing innocent civilians, not armed, not engaged in violence on boats on the high seas.
Like 1,500 miles away from us. And
correct. I forgot about that. 1,500
miles
away from us in a boat that can only go about 50 or 60 miles.
Yeah, little motorboats. And again, this is a Trump quote. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. I think we're just going to kill people. I mean, this is insanity in front of everybody's eyes. But like you said, it's one after another. The Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner that lied his way into office, Obama, that sold himself as a peace candidate. And as soon as he got in, it was the Afghan troop surge with that other little arrogant clown boy that's now with KKR that ran the thing, Petraeus. You remember him?
Right.
Yeah, how about betrayed us?
Yes.
One little piece of scum murderer after another, right in front of everybody's eyes, and no one cares. Oh, you talk about killing people? Hey, how about that ceasefire in Israel? Oh, they just killed another 3 Palestinians yesterday.
Gerald, the White House announced yesterday they're going to spend $500 million building an American military base at the Israeli-Gaza border. So now the unthinkable will happen. U.S. troops in Gaza. Yeah. Gee, I wonder whose side they'll be on.
Yeah. To steal the land. And again, out of the mouth of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, back in March of 2024, that's, quote, very valuable waterfront property.
Yes.
And now Israel controls some 58% of Gaza. They call it a yellow line. And if you go near that yellow line, Jack, you're dead. They're killing people.
Yes.
So you're talking about going
every bullet in the brain of every innocent Palestinian has been paid for by money borrowed in the name of the American taxpayer.
Yep. And by the way, we have to stop calling these taxes. It's thievery. They misspelt it. They're stealing our money. I'm paying ridiculous $19,000 for fucking school tax on average in my buildings here. $19,000. Taxes? No. You're stealing my money to give it to stupid people to teach stupid crap. And again, and then that's only how about the property taxes? Again,
Wait, the 19,000 is on top of the property tax? I know your buildings. You're being paid, you're being assessed a property tax and a $19,000 school tax?
yes,
Wow.
$19,000.
That's so they can try and turn a pig's ear into a silk purse and they won't succeed.
Again, bureaucrats, they misspell it. They're bureaucrats. These are arrogant little boys and girls that can't get a job in the real world, that suck into the political system and become the most arrogant. Again, they're robbing our money. It's thievery. It's not taxes. Judge, again, what's going on? Hey, do you see this thing about Trump? He wants to, one of my sayings is, when all else fails, they take you to war.
Right.
Let's go back to before Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, 2023. There were 39 weeks of protests going on in Israel because of Netanyahu wanting to pass a Judicial Reform Act that basically said, you can't take me to court for the crimes that they say I committed, and we're doing away with the court system and the politicians will be in charge. 39 weeks of protests, not my language, the language of Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, said, quote, there's a revolution going on, a civil war going on in Israel before 9/11, 9/11, October 7th, no difference. Anyway, a civil war was going on. And then the data came out that they knew that Hamas was going to attack and they let it happen. Again, not my language. Again, we only report the facts. 3 days after the attack, it was reported that the United States and Egypt had warned them that it was going to happen. Right. So now Trump is saying, pardon Netanyahu.
And Isaac Herzog said, anybody interested in a pardon should make an application for one. We haven't received an application. So Netanyahu is just trying to use political pressure to get the pardon. I don't think Herzog, who's a tool of the Israeli culture, I don't think he's going to grant the pardon. If he does, there'll be riots in the streets. The cases against Netanyahu are very strong. Some of them are going on even as we speak. He does not have the level of immunity that the U.S. president has. If Trump were indicted tomorrow, state or federal, the indictment would be put on the shelf until after he's out of office. But in Israel, the trial commences. He's got 3 trials going on simultaneously. He keeps asking for adjournments. Sometimes he gets them, sometimes he doesn't. But the prosecutions are continuing.
Again, when all else fails, they take you to war. That's what he did. And he's going to ramp up the war probably against Iran. And again,
well, that's their next target. And as soon as Trump finishes with Venezuela, then we'll start bombing Iran.
Yep. And again, this is such bullshit that these presidents could give pardons. I mean, what a bunch of crap.
Well,
that little Giuliani just got a pardon. Criminals get pardons, but hey, you'll go and get out of your car. Just walk on the straight line over here. You're 0.1% over the limit of drinking that we just made up, and now you're going to jail. But they give pardons to these criminals one after. What do they call this country? A republic, a democracy? It's a crime syndicate.
Well, we've never seen the pardon power used by any president the way Trump has. I mean, it's been there. George Washington pardoned the whiskey rebellers. So it's in the Constitution, but we've never seen it abused the way Trump has. The people that he just pardoned were never charged with any federal crimes. So the pardon is just sort of a public relations stunt. And Giuliani, for all of his failures, is not in danger of being charged with any federal crimes because whatever he did more than 5 years ago, which is the statute of limitations. So this was just a political stunt by Trump. There's about 60 or 70 people in that group, many of whom you and I and the people watching us now have never heard of, but they all have pardons to put up on their walls, even though they were never charged with anything. So there was nothing to pardon.
It's so sad what's happened. And it's just getting worse. Judge, who do you have coming up on your shows?
I just had Phil Giraldi,
Oh.
so that's posted and you can watch him. And he always asks for you before we start taping the show. Another friend of yours and mine, Dan McAdams from the Ron Paul Institute, Aaron Mate, and the great man himself from St. Petersburg, Russia, Scott Ritter.
Wow, he's in St. Petersburg.
Yes, he is.
Wow, lucky him. Yeah, I was just on Crosstalk with Daniel McAdams on RT, and he did a great job. He put out information that most people never heard of. No, he does.
What were you talking about with him?
Well, we were talking about what's going on with the demonstrations going on around the world, and the protests and other issues. And he really
the Zionists in America are hemorrhaging support, and they send out a thug like Mark Levin, and they hemorrhage more support.
Yeah, that's so sad. And again, the media is just so one-sided. And again, not only in this country, all over the world, they control it. And who else you got coming up, Judge, after that?
Well, that's it for today. Tomorrow, the great John Mearsheimer.
Oh, wow. So everybody go to Judging Freedom if you want to see information, hear information that you're not going to get anywhere else. Judge, thanks for being on. Thanks for all you do. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Gerald. God bless you. All the best.